Okay, welcome everybody. A lovely location here. I thought I'd share with you. So we're going to start in a kneeling position, and I was just going to read from Psalm 104, starting at verse 25. It says, "O Lord, what a variety of things you have made. In wisdom you made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. Here is the ocean, vast and wide, teeming with life of every kind, both large and small. The Lord takes pleasure in all he has made." So starting in a kneeling position, we're going to inhale our arms up. Nice big stretch. Sweep the arms up, bringing the hands together. Exhale, bringing the hands down into prayer. And we'll do that again. Inhale up, big stretch. Looking up. Exhale, bringing the hands down. And one more time. Exhale down. Bringing the hands down to the thighs. We're going to lengthen the spine here. Taking the left hand to the right knee and just a gentle twist. And release, coming the other way, lengthen the spine, inhale, and twisting the other way. Coming back to center here, we're going to sit up onto our toes, so tucking the toes underneath, sitting back down onto the heels here, giving the arches of the feet a good stretch. We're going to add our eagle arms to stretch up the shoulders as well. So crossing the arms at the elbow, palms together. And release, arms out. Bringing them back, crossing the other direction, other arm on top. Should feel that across the back of your shoulders, a little bit across the back of the neck. Keeping the hands away from the face here. And release, coming forward, tapping out the toes. We're going to come into a child's pose from here. So taking the knees as wide as the mat, toes together, and coming down, forehead down to the mat. And then staying in your child's pose, we're just going to walk the hands over to the left corner of your mat, coming back down again. Nice side body stretch. And then walking all the way over to the other corner of the mat, bringing the forehead down, side body stretch. And then coming back to center here. Walking back up, we're going to come into a tabletop position. So taking the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees are underneath the hips. And we're going to start with some cat-cows here. So inhaling, head goes up, tailbone lifts. Exhale, drop the head, rounding the spine, pushing it up. Inhale, head up. Exhale, rounding the spine. Just do a few more of those, following your breath. then we're coming back to center here. We're going to go into a balancing table. So taking the right arm forward, left leg back, toes are pointing down, and then see if you can level the hips and pulling the belly button up towards the spine here. You don't want to sink into it. Pulling it up. Bringing that down, switching to the other side. Left hand, right leg, toes pointing down. Try to level the hips. Pulling the belly button up towards the spine. And bringing that back down. From here, we're going to lift into our downward dog. So tuck those toes under, lifting the hips up to the sky or the ceiling, wherever you are. Maybe you want to pedal out those feet here, bending one knee at a time, working into the calves. From here, taking the right leg up, looking between your hands, and then you're going to bring that right knee towards your nose, but don't drop it down. Send it right back up again. Exhale, bring the knee forward to the nose. Inhale up. Last one. Exhale to the nose. Bring it back up. This time we're going to bend the knee, opening up the hips, stacking the hips, looking under that arm for your fire hydrant pose. Bringing the gaze back. This time we're going to bring that knee all the way through, planting the foot, dropping the back knee down, and working into our low lunge on this side. So you want to make sure your knee and your ankle are stacked. Stretching out that hip flexor on the left side. These are good ones to practice if you want to work into getting into the splits. They definitely get you closer. Bringing the hands down, we're going to hinge backwards. You can keep those back toes down flat. Just going to hinge backwards so that front leg is straight, bringing these toes pointing up. Getting a nice stretch all along the back of that leg, hamstring and the calf. Coming back forward, walking the foot across the mat. We're going to go into our pigeon pose from here. So dropping that knee, flexing this foot, and then wherever you need to be to feel that stretch all along the hip and the glute area there. You want to try and keep your hips as level as possible. And then maybe you want to stay up here. Maybe you want to come down on your forearms or onto a block. Or maybe you want to come all the way down. Doesn't matter where you are today. Breathing into that space. Coming back up here, we're going to take the right hand into the center of the mat, bending that left knee, reaching back for that ankle, grabbing that, adding a nice quad stretch here. So make sure you're on the top of your thigh and not on your kneecap. And then just gently pulling it towards you. And if you can't reach, then use a strap hook it around, draw it in. If you flex that back foot, sometimes it adds a bit deeper into the quad stretch. Breathing here. Releasing that down, tucking those toes back into your downward dog. So lifting the hips up, pedal out the feet. Maybe you want to wiggle the hips a little bit side to side. Pushing that mat away from you with your hands. Now we're going to go into the other side. So taking the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, bringing the knee forward to the nose. Inhale, lifting the leg up. Exhale, bring it forward. One more. Exhale, bring it forward. This time, bring it up. Bending the knee, opening the hips, and looking under the arm. Coming back around, bringing the gaze forward, bringing that foot all the way through, planting it, lowering the back knee for your low lunge on this side, stacking the ankle and the knee above each other, drawing that right hip forward, getting into that hip flexor. Bringing the hands down to the mat here. We're just going to hinge backwards, straightening out that left leg. Left toes are pointing up, getting a nice big long stretch along the back of that leg. Coming back forward, walking the foot across the mat, we'll go into our pigeon pose here. Dropping the knee down, flexing that foot, and getting yourself into position here, trying to keep your hips as level as possible. Maybe this side is different than the other side. Just listening to your body, what it is needing right now. Breathing into that whole left side, the left glute, the left hip. Still working on the right hip flexor as well. Breathing here. Coming back up here, taking the left hand into the center of the mat, Bending the right knee, reaching back for that right ankle this time, working into the quad stretch on the right side. Maybe you want to flex that foot to add a little bit deeper. Maybe you can bring it a little bit closer, or you use a strap. Doesn't matter, as long as you're feeling a good stretch there. Funny, I'm kind of in the middle of a walking path here, so I have an ongoing audience. Some join in, some don't. But it's hard to pass up this gorgeous view out here, so. Go ahead and release that, tucking those toes. We're gonna head back to our downward dog here. Pedal it out one more time, really pressing into those fingers. Going to step our feet forward up towards our hands and just hanging in a forward fold here, grabbing one hand onto each elbow, hanging the head heavy. Maybe you want to sway side to side a little bit. And then dropping our hips, we're actually going to go into a wide squat here. So taking the feet as wide as the mat, a little bit angled off to the side. Dropping the hips down as far as you can. And trying to keep the chest open here without sinking into yourself. So you can use your elbows against your knees, taking your hands into prayer. Really big hip opener here. Maybe you want to rock side to side a little bit, you could do that. Try and move the weight in your feet more towards the heels of your feet rather than onto your toes. Nice, and then we're just going to come down onto a seated position and rolling down onto our backs. Turn a little bit here. So we're going to start with some bridges here. So on our backs, feet on the mat, knees are bent, feet are fairly close to your glutes here. Arms by your side, palms facing down. Taking an inhale and exhale, lifting those hips up. Squeezing the glutes when you get to the top here. Inhaling down and exhale, lift. Just do a few more of those at your own pace, following your breath. And bringing the hips back down to the mat here. We'll take our feet as wide as the mat and just windshield wiper them side to side. Dropping left, dropping right. Then coming back to center here, we're going to come up onto our elbows. So So from here, you want to make sure that you're pressing into your forearms and into your elbows so that you're not sinking into your shoulders. You're lifting the chest, keeping it open here. Bringing the knees up into your chest. We're going to do something, it's called the can-can, which is kind of fun. So you're going to bring them over to the side, but not touching the ground. Back to center, to the other side. So inhale, center, exhale, side, inhale, center, exhale, other side. Inhale, center. This time when we get over here, we're going to straighten the legs. Bend the legs. Inhale, center, exhale, straighten, exhale, center. Remember to try and keep your chest lifted. Pulling that belly button in towards the spine. Couple more. Back to center. Bring the knees down and down onto your backs again. Take a couple breaths here. So now when we're down, we're going to find our neutral pelvis position here. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Palms are down by your side. Taking the legs up here. You can bring them down a bit if you want. Making sure you're really pulling that belly button in towards the spine. And we're going to do our scissor crisscrosses here. Keep going. Keep breathing. Trying to keep your back from arching off of the mat here. Really pulling that belly button down to the spine. Good job. Bringing those knees into the chest. Give them a hug. If you want to rock side to side a little bit. We're going to take our arms out beside us. Dropping both knees right down to the right side. One more twist here. If you want a deeper twist, just take the top knee and hook it over top of the other one. Coming back to center. Bringing the knees over to the other side. And back to center here. We're going to come up to a seated position. Bringing the legs out in front of us, toes pointing up. We're just going to do a forward fold here. If you want to use a strap, go ahead and do that. We're going to inhale, lengthen, and then just hinging forward. Coming to however far you come. Hold on to whatever you can. breathing here. Coming back up, we're going to take our hands behind us, fingers pointing towards your body, and we're going to lift into a reverse plank here. You can go ahead and drop the head if you want, if that feels good. Otherwise, just lifting the hips, pointing the toes, dropping the hips down, and coming back to your forward fold again. One more time, hands behind you, toes pointing towards the body, lifting the hips up, pointing the toes. Bringing the hips down, and we're going to come into a cross-legged position here. Hands on the hips, and we're going to do some circles into the hips. And circle the other way. And sitting up nice and tall here. I'm sliding down the hill. Sitting up nice and tall here. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, twisting to the right. And release, inhale up. Exhale, twisting to the left. Back to center. Inhaling, right arm up, left hand down. Stretching over to the side. Keeping both sitting bones down on the mat equally. Back up. And over the other way. And back up. Taking your hands to your knees here, sitting nice and tall. We're going to drop our chin to our chest. Tilting the head to the right side. You can take the left arm around behind the back if you want. And tilting the head to the left. Taking the right arm behind. Bringing the head back to center here. Just closing your eyes, taking a few deeper breaths. Noticing how your body feels compared to when you started. I was going to read this verse from Psalm 19, verse 1. It says, "The heavens proclaim the glory of God. The skies display the works of his hands." Let's inhale, both arms up, reaching up, looking up, bringing the hands together. Exhale, bringing the hands back down into prayer. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you have an excellent rest of your day.